Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Write this down.
Write that down.
Write it down. You like writing things down. Write this down.
Yeah. The only show in America that actually keeps track of our predictions with statistics every single Wednesday on Purple Daily and on Minnesota Sports with Mackie and Judd, one of our other podcasts. We go through the accountabilities. We make our predictions. Gentlemen, how are we feeling today? I know you guys did some Mackie and Judd predictions last week. We have not done Purple Daily, write that down, since before the holiday break. So how are we feeling? It was kind of a bye week on Write That Down last week.
I'm uncertain right now. I don't remember most of my predictions. We didn't do it last week. I was flummoxed. I was flustered. Wow. I am uncertain right now. There's a lot of uncertainty in the Zolgad camp that I hope can be answered today.
Wow. Okay. Just not a lot of confidence from Sports Dad here.
I just don't remember much of my picks. Like some of them are going to come off the board. I think there's a lot, which sort of scares me, to be honest. So
you not remembering your picks? I don't know. That surprised me a little bit.
I know, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking.
I do know I have some. I made my Judd related predictions, my long term predictions. I know some. I think some of those will probably come off the board that are going to bite me. I know 2 for sure on over unders that did not hit for old Dex tweets. Yeah. But
don't take Dex to the sports book is what we learned for this accountability session.
Yeah. Don't take me there.
Although you could take Dex to Underdog Fantasy. I know you're better at those.
SOB. Sure. Look at this guy. Underdog Fantasy, best and easiest way to play fantasy sports. Okay, they got NFL playoff picks coming after this week, so this is actually a fun time. Okay. So obviously week 18, there's some meaningful games too that are obviously happening this week, but then it's NFL playoff time. No better time to make some picks than the NFL playoffs. You can go to Underdog Fantasy, promo code SCORE, SKOR. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. Go download the Underdog Fantasy app and show us those winning slips. We love seeing those winning slips on Purple Daily.
Hell yeah.
Football.
Peter, man. All right, here's how it works every single week. 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from all of us and a guest listener participant. They must be quantifiable. That's really the only rule. And football-related and quantifiable. Those are the rules. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. A touchdown is something that's above and beyond a just regular prediction. A touchdown is something that is going to be, it's kind of just up to us, but a lower percentage chance to come to fruition. And if you want to participate as a guest listener predictor, like Jeremy is about to, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app, and we'll get you scheduled for some time, probably in like February. We're booked out for a few weeks here.
Yep.
Before I flash this next page, which is Judd's accountability on the screen for the YouTube audience, for the audio audience, I will explain this. One of the great bad beats in Purple Daily Write That Down history.
No. Thanks a lot.
No.
A great bad beat.
Oh, no.
Judd said Mike Zimmer, this is 2 years ago. 2 years ago. He said Mike Zimmer will meet with Tom Pelissero, specifically NFL Network, on why he should be an NFL head coach, which he did last week. He sat down. He had his hair all slicked. He had the skin looked great. He's ready to rock and roll. But Judd put an end date on this prediction of week 1, 2023.
God,
which means it's wrong.
I was so happy for Judd when I saw this.
I was too. I had forgot about this. But you know what?
Damn.
You know what? It's a bad beat. It would have been a terrible beat if I had said like week 10, though. Like I did say if I said week 1, that's a long time ago now.
But you nailed the rest of it.
Yeah.
You nailed.
You know what I do?
You could have said Rappaport. You could have said Schefter.
But Pelissero had met with Mike McCarthy, who was trying to get a job at the time. And so I'm like, okay, clearly Tom is the guy to go to, right? Yeah. To get your career back on track. I feel like, you know what? This shot came out of my hands, much like the Caitlin Clark shot last night. That, by the way, shouldn't have counted, but did. In this case, my shot came out late.
Yeah, it's and Pelissero has roots, obviously, and he's a former coworker of ours and a good friend.
The Vikings. Yeah,
he was your cohort at 1500 ESPN covering the Vikings. He has Vikings roots, and so it was probably more likely that he would have that relationship. But it is funny. You mentioned Pelissero sat down like 5 years ago with Mike McCarthy, and McCarthy explained how he's essentially created this war room in his basement, and he invites all these other former NFL coaches over, and they kind of go through a game plan during the week as if they were coaches of a team. And he talked a lot about how I'm into analytics now. I'm a big analytics guy. And Mike Zimmer took the same playbook and ran it on that interview. He talked about analytics, looking at the analytics of things and studying
he had built
analytics.
a room, right?
McCarthy did, yeah.
No, but I thought
Zimmer did too.
He built a room at the ranch and was like, because Tom said, "Are you watching a bunch of games and tape?" And Zimmer said, "I'm watching a lot of third downs."
Yep.
So he's just cutting up third downs.
Dude, just double A gap
anyway,
in third down. Let's go. Football.
It's a bad beat. It could have been worse, but I feel good because it's still it's a fly out to the track, or perhaps the outfielder went above the wall and caught it.
You know what? I think actually
you're Patrick, good about it.
You're Patrick Mahomes, and you threw an absolute dot on 3rd and 25, 2 yards past the
Marquez
sticks,
Valdez-Scantling.
and your idiot wide receiver dropped it.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Oh, he couldn't catch it.
You also said Dalvin Cook will miss at least 3 games for the Jets. So it's funny, he actually played in 15 games for the Jets this year, despite barely playing, and now he's no longer a Jet.
And I thought he would play way more and get hurt.
Yeah, he played a lot, like in terms of games, but he'd get like 1 carry, 2 carries.
Right, he didn't play enough to actually get hurt, which is what I thought he would do.
If the Vikings somehow make the playoffs, and let's say Madison gets banged up again, so you're down to Chandler, would you consider signing Dalvin Cook for the wild card round if the 3% playoff chance comes to fruition?
Oh no, I think he's cooked.
Okay. You said the Denver Broncos would make the playoffs this year. They're eliminated.
Boy. That was not
a nice comeback. You said Kirk Cousins would be shown on the sideline at some point during a Vikings game toward the end of the year here. He was.
Twice.
And, he was a couple times. You said Dalton Reisner would sign with the Vikings, which the first part of this came true months ago, and start 10 or more games at guard. He started his 10th game last week.
Woo.
That's a touchdown for Judd.
Woo. Okay, cool. Good. That's a close one.
I had 4 things come off the board. I said Aiden Hutchinson would strip sack a Vikings quarterback a couple weeks ago. In one of the worst predictions of the year, I said Nick Mullins would have an interception-free game against the Lions. He threw 4.
You know what that is? If we did picks, that's a candidate for a write that down.
Pick 6.
Pick 6, exactly right.
I should keep track of the worst predictions of the year. That would definitely be on the Mount Rushmore there. I did tell you guys when there was, I think they were the 3rd or 4th most likely team at the time. We negotiated this as a touchdown. I said the Niners at the beginning of December would overcome the 2-game deficit within the next month to be the number 1 seed, and they did.
Nice
the
work.
Niners. And then I said Dalvin Cook would not rush for 1,000 yards in 2023. Came nowhere close. Okay, listeners, strap in. Had to lower the font size on this one to squeeze it all on the YouTube channel. So Gregory said Ty Chandler and Justin Jefferson would combine for at least 200 total yards against Detroit. Nope. Intern Max had the Vikings going 4-1 in their last 5 games. Gareth said Danielle Hunter and Davenport would have double-digit sacks, and also in a separate prediction, TJ Hawkinson would break or match Shanko's tight end touchdown record for the Vikings of 12. Chad said the Vikings would win at least 5 games by 10 or more points. Nate said Vikings will go 10-7, win the division, and split with the Lions. Well, they could still split with the Lions, but that's wrong.
Yeah, doesn't matter though.
Nathan said Vikings would win the NFC North. Brock said Marcus Davenport would have more sacks than Zadarius Smith. And Andre said Justin Jefferson would catch his first Sunday Night Football touchdown in 2023, which somehow did not happen.
Wow.
Whew. But Greg, coming through with one of the greatest predictions in the history of Write That Down. For sure the Purple Daily version, but you could make a case this is one of the top 10 predictions in the history of Write That Down going back 7 or 8 years. Greg said before the year the Vikings offense at some point this year would run a halfback pass, a wide receiver pass, and a flea flicker. And dang it, they ran a flea flicker it was 2 games ago, I think it was. That is a great touchdown.
Nice.
Dude, that's
by listener Greg.
Yes. 99 yards right there. Gus to Bernard Berrien.
It's great stuff. Declan, kind of a rough week, but he made it up at the end a little bit. You said the Cowboys, Vikings, and Seahawks in that order would be the wild card teams.
That came off the board.
Yeah, the Rams put a wrench into that. You said Jared Goff would throw at least 2 picks against the Vikings. The Commanders would hit the over on 6.5, and the Niners would hit the under on 11.5 and miss the playoffs. Oof. So, yeah, Commanders are at 4 wins, Niners at 12 going into.
Commanders one felt pretty. I mean, they were like 4-4, right? And they've lost like 9 in a row or 10 in a row now, I think.
It's really bad. Yeah, they haven't won in a long time. But I think so. I think just based on the shooting star nature of Tommy DeVito here, you said this after like one good Tommy DeVito game. So I think this is a touchdown unless Judd wants to fight it. You said Tommy DeVito and or his family would be featured in a national commercial. I saw all over the place a pasta sauce commercial with Tommy DeVito.
Yep.
I think that counts. It was mostly like a digital ad on social channels, but Declan didn't specify TV
and his
ad.
Mom
he
was
just
in
said
one,
a commercial.
Right?
It was like him and his mom in a pasta sauce, right?
That definitely counts.
So we're gonna ring that.
Oh yeah, that's a touchdown.
As a tud. And with that on the season, still a lot to be decided.
Oh my God.
This is tight, man. Between now and the Super Bowl is how much time we have left in the season. So I'm at 37.3. Judd's at 35.3% completions. Declan at 35.2%. So all of us within 2 percentage points. Listeners all the way down at 21.5%. Dex leads the touchdown race with 12. Judd and I both have 11. Listeners have 7. All time, Declan narrowly leads in the completion percentage battle, 35.2% to Judd's 35%. I'm at 33.5%. Listeners just below 23%. I have 44 touchdowns. Declan has 35. Listeners 34. Judd with 29. So, woo! There we go, boys. Let's get a much more respectable man than us in here. Jeremy from South Carolina, a member of the U.S. Navy. Thank you for your service, sir. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, boys. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So tell us your history as a Vikings fan. When did it all start for you?
So my dad, after his dad retired from the Navy, moved to Minnesota. He grew up in Aiken, went to school in Bemidji. So he just grew up a Vikings fan his whole life, kind of brought me up into it. I'm originally from New Jersey. All my friends are Giants fans. I wanted to be like, okay, I want to be cool. I want to be a Jets fan. And then when I was little, I got tickets to a Jets-Vikings game. They were both already eliminated from the playoffs that year. I forget how old I really was, but I just switched right then and there. I was like, you know what? I want to be just like my dad. I want to know what it feels like to live, just the pain and the misery. Just lets you know you're alive. Being like,
it's like a different misery than being a Jets fan. Like Jets fan misery is a level or two below, I feel like, right? Like Vikings fan misery is kind of, you're not like 3-win misery like the Jets are sometimes. It's different.
So hold on a second here. So you were considering the Jets or Vikings? Like the Giants or Vikings, I might have been like, I regret this because the Jets or Vikings, man, that's a hell of a choice.
It's just everyone was just Giants fans, and I was like, okay, cool, I want to be a Jets fan. Then I got a Curtis Martin jersey one year for Christmas, and
Curtis.
Yeah, and then I just switched. I pretty much switched after I joined the Navy and got stationed out here for the first time.
Yeah. So what about like basketball, baseball? What other allegiances for teams do you have?
Hockey, Devils, because my dad get tickets there all the time, and New Jersey Transit. We would just take the train out of my town, go to the Rock all the time, go to the hockey games. Not really a big NBA guy, but when I was little, again, also from when I was little, I went to a Denver Nuggets New York Knicks game when Carmelo Anthony was on the Knicks, and there was that huge brawl. I actually had floor seats to that game. I was like in 6th grade. I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. So not really a big NBA guy. Baseball, I got to go with the Twins. I don't really follow it as much as I should. I really want to, but Twins.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Well, so Jeremy's here to make his 3 predictions. So we're going to start with Jeremy, over to Judd, Declan, and I will round it out. We'll make 3 trips around the room, 1 prediction per lap. Football related, show related, quantifiable are really the only parameters here. Down. So you're up, Jeremy.
So I do have a question before I make the prediction, because it'll kind of play into it. If it's with Kirk Cousins' void years coming up, assuming like he's got the $28 million cap hit next year and the $8 million so on. If he signs an extension, does that negate his void years? Like, does that take away that $28 million and he only gets paid?
Judd, how do you want to answer that?
If he signs the extension before the league year begins in March, then it kicks that down the road, and so the dead cap won't apply to the 2024 Vikings cap. If he waits and then signs, which I don't, this is a non-starter, I'm sure. Then it all counts in 2024. So, long story short, this should be resolved by the time free agency opens in March.
Gotcha. Okay, that I've been trying to Google that and I couldn't really find a good answer for that. So.
It's not even like, we've had to.
It's not really out there.
Judd and Doogie have had to like talk to their NFL front office sources to get information on his contract. So it's kind of complicated.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. All right. Start something off a little easy. Write this down. Day 3 of the draft, the Vikings will draft a kicker.
I love this prediction. Let's go. They've had 2 5th-round kickers, right? Or Daniel Carlson, Blair Walsh were both like 5th or 6th round day 3 kickers.
They were day 3 guys. Yeah.
Yep. I almost was a little bold and I almost said day 2, but I think that day 2 that just would have been too far out there.
2nd round. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I think there's a fighting chance that the kicker, and probably more importantly, the punter, is changed. Ryan Wright has had a lousy year, and he's never been in great shape. But my God,
yeah, can you not mix in a salad once in a while?
Well, I mean, I don't think
from
you have
me,
to be,
by the way, yeah.
But he's had like if you look, and I think Phil broached this a month ago. Well, yeah, and he looks like he was straight out of 1975 and should be smoking with a single bar. Well,
you were talking about it a couple weeks. I think it was a couple weeks ago where he hasn't even had a punt inside the 20, or like only a couple of them.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, he's had some, but he ranks very low in some of these key categories. Yeah. I love how we just like did a drive-by of the Vikings punter there for a couple minutes.
It's deserved.
Let's get his ass out of here.
All space fade.
Exactly right.
Judd,
right.
Your first prediction.
All right, write this down. We all know that it's almost a certainty, despite all the financial implications. Russell Wilson will no longer be with the Broncos. So write this down. Week 1 of next season, Russell Wilson will be the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons.
Interesting.
The Atlanta Falcons. I still, as we've discussed, I think Kirk's coming back here. And so I could see, and if Arthur Smith is still there, he needs to save his job. So I don't think he's going to go young. Like, I don't see, I'm going to cultivate a guy, because if they have, I mean, he could be fired now. In my opinion, he's sort of a buffoon. But I think Russell Wilson ends up with Falcons.
The Falcons, who knows what, because they don't have their quarterback on the roster right now, but they've got some really interesting pieces too.
Yeah.
So they got to kind of figure
Write this down.
what direction they're going. Okay, Declan.
All right, I was going to make this third, but I'm going to make this first. So for this first prediction, I need Judd to take off his headphones.
Oh, sure. Hold on a second here. There you go.
All right, so in the spirit of Judd, always like forgetting predictions, or even just making multiple predictions, not even forgetting. Write this down. Judd will make at least 3 predictions on TJ Hawkinson's return to the Vikings. Okay. And I'm going to put the end date of week 1 of next season.
He's going to make a long-term prediction here.
He's going to make 3 TJ Hawkinson related return predictions.
So could that be, like, let's say on August 1st, training camp starts and Judd makes a prediction and says Hawkinson will have, he's not back yet, but Hawkinson will have 1,000 yards receiving. That counts, right?
Yep.
Anything about his, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All right, Judd.
Come on back, Judd. Yep. Come on back.
All right.
Let's see if it happens.
We'll see if it happens.
Let's see if he triggers it right now.
I'm just not going to talk for the rest of the show, so can't happen.
Well, you got to at least make 2 predictions.
Yeah. You're going to have to say something.
Write this down.
Okay,
Stella,
write this down.
come in here and make predictions for me.
Write this down. The Vikings will draft one of these 3 quarterbacks. I'm gonna be the first to put names out. Okay.
All right.
Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix. And that would likely mean that they're drafting in the first round. Although I could see a scenario where like Bo Nix falls into the second round, they trade up or something. Or they trade back into the first round to get the 5th-year option at the 32nd pick, right?
Miles
Lamar
and
Jackson slot.
Miles and Forno talked about that idea as well, kind of like they did with Teddy.
Look at that.
Yeah, Teddy.
Great draft minds.
Yep. That's Purple Daily on Draft every single Monday on the Purple Daily podcast feeds and YouTube channel. That's right.
Write this down.
Okay, back to Jeremy.
All right. Write this down. The Vikings will not draft at their first overall pick at that current position. So, like, let's just say they're slated to pick 12th or 13th. They will not pick that. They will trade it. Whether they trade up, trade back, it will not be that place that they draft.
That feels like a great spot to move, right? Because if a couple quarterbacks come off the board and now you're like, I don't know what some of these other teams could do. You're going to want to jump and make sure you get your guy. Or if you're like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We could probably get Bo Nix later in the first round and get some capital. It does feel like a prime moving spot right there, 10, 11, 12.
So.
See what happens. Okay, Judd, what's your second prediction?
Write this down.
I believe Kevin O'Connell is going to announce today who is going to start at quarterback on Sunday. He said in his press conference on Monday that he has decided, but at that time hadn't told the team and wanted to wait until he told his players before he informed us. So write this down. No matter who it is, Dobbs, Mullins, Hall, Mannion, Kramer, Tarkington, they will be guilty of at least 2 turnovers or more on Sunday.
So the starting quarterback.
So the quarterback who starts will be guilty of, let's say a pick and a fumble. Let's say 2 picks. Let's say 2 fumbles. Turnovers too. So not just fumbles without being recovered by the opposition. The Vikings starting quarterback on Sunday will commit at least 2 turnovers.
Okay. If it's Nick Mullins, I think that's a bunt. It's a check down. We'll see on.
It might be a check down
right?
if it's any of them, dude.
Yeah, I would say this is just a solid little, second and 1 handoff.
I'm not going out on a limb here. I'm trying to pad.
No, you're good. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
Is it likely to be Mullins? They have not announced it yet, by the way. I'm just scrolling through Vikings Twitter here.
Yeah, I think O'Connell.
I think it's Mullins.
I think O'Connell talks about 1:00 or so.
I would even say, I think Hall's the least likely. I wouldn't be shocked
I don't
if
think
it
you
goes
start
to
Hall
Dobbs.
again.
Yeah.
I would start Dobbs.
Well, really?
I'd start Dobbs. You know what? He came in and gave me a chance for a couple of games. I would start Dobbs.
Yeah. I think the question is, what are you trying to accomplish in this game? And if it's me, I'm trying to accomplish losing. So I would start Jaren Hall again. But I understand that you'd almost lose the locker room too if you start Jaren Hall because he just obviously can't play quarterback.
Exactly. And to be clear, on Mullins, I was flat out wrong. I thought he was competent.
Well,
and I know he put
is
up
competent
yards.
in a lot of ways, but he has a recklessness that.
But he's a kamikaze. I mean, the football's a grenade in that man's hands.
It's bad. Yeah, it is.
Write this down.
He can't. He gives you some of the upside of a starting quarterback, or he can throw it for. There's some guys that like Jaren Hall. I don't know if Jaren Hall could put up 300 yards in a game. If you told him, dude, abandon all cautiousness for 3 hours, go throw for 300 yards.
Nick Mullins would be like
Nick Mullins could throw for 500, but he'd have 6 interceptions. Oh, man. All right, back to Declan here for your second.
Write this down.
Prediction.
All right, write this down. I think this is spicy. Let me know if this is a touchdown. The Chiefs will be one and done in the playoffs. They will not win a playoff game, basically, is what I'm saying.
It's not a touchdown, but yeah. I mean,
it's spicy.
It's yeah.
It's spicy, but it
I'd
wouldn't
probably
be
have
shocking.
to add something for it to be.
Dude, they'll
touchdown,
drop
right?
8 passes.
Yeah, I know.
And they're going to be. I mean, there's no way. What's the matchup right now? If the playoffs start today,
well, they'll be at home, right? Because they won their division, so they're for sure at Arrowhead, which is huge for them. But they'll get out, and dude, the AFC is stacked with good wild card teams. So
well, they're 5-4 at home, so they're not even having a good home year.
But betting against Mahomes.
They would, well, right now, if the playoffs started right now, they would play the Buffalo Bills, I believe, in the first round at Arrowhead. Ooh. So, I mean, it's a fun prediction. Ooh. It's probably not a touchdown, but that's okay.
Write this down.
My second prediction, Lions by at least 20. The Vikings are going to make sure. They're going to make sure they get that 10th pick. Or the 9th or the 11th, whatever it is.
Wow.
And the Lions, dude. Wow. By the way, I just saw this come across Twitter. Somebody in the Detroit area put up a billboard that just says, in Lions font with the blue background, Decker reported. And then and then there's like another billboard further down that has 11-5 crossed out, 12-4. It's going to be their rallying cry, starting with this Vikings game. I believe Dan Campbell is going to, even though there's not much chance that they could move up in the seeding, right?
If they beat the Vikings and Dallas loses to Washington, they'd be the 2 seed.
So very slim chance that happens, that Dallas loses that game. So but I still think Dan Campbell's going to treat it like a playoff game. Screw this. Let's rally these guys. So.
Yes.
Lions by 20 or more. Okay, back to Jeremy for his third and final prediction.
All right, I promised my dad I would make one of his picks, but save that. He's got some spicy ones I'll let him make, We good to announce that?
Yeah, you're good to announce. That's right. You're good to announce that.
Next week, you are scheduled to write that down. So he won't hear this right when you drop this. He's on a plane right now up to Indianapolis for work, but heck yeah, happy birthday, Dad.
Wow.
So,
happy birthday.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Third, via credible source, and I'll leave that up to you three to determine, the Vikings will be linked to Baker Mayfield.
Oh.
Whoa.
He's a free agent, right?
He is, and he's... Wow. I don't know if he's going to bag anywhere yet, but whether that link is like they have interest in him or whatever the case may be, it's going to be Vikings and Baker Mayfield in that same title.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, we have precedents for this type of prediction. There will be a credible report linking the Vikings to Baker Mayfield in the offseason.
Oh, boy,
so I'm trying to think of
how that is handled.
The dominoes would have to go. There'd have to be a clean break from Kirk, right? There'd have to be Vikings and Kirk reach an impasse, and now the Vikings are moving on to other options.
I really think that this was I think this proves that they need to draft a quarterback. They really, really do. They can't be afraid. Just do it, please. It's killing us as a fan base. Get your quarterback. Stop playing just to be competitive. What do we say? Before I die, please.
Yeah.
Win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, if they wind up breaking up with Kirk, they're still going to need some sort of 1-year veteran, just somebody that can come in here. I think Baker has graduated from that level. He had a pretty good season. I think Baker is one of the 24 starting quarterbacks. But I was texting with Alex and Jeremiah, Alex Boone and Jeremiah Searles on our little football text thread the other day, and I can't remember. One of them posed the question: okay, if it's Kirk for $30 million, or $30 or $40 million, or Joe Flacco on a 1-year contract for way less than that. Let's call it $8 to $10 million. As your bridge, you draft a Michael Penix or somebody. You need one more guy in there in the room. Yeah, would you consider a Joe Flacco if the price got too high on Kirk Cousins?
No brainer, Joe Flacco.
Oh, Jeremy. Jeremy's going to get hammered in the YouTube comments.
Baker Mayfield. That's an interesting one.
That's fine. Bring it in. I love it.
But you know what? To your point, do you know the one position that I think the 2023 season is going to increase the price on? Backup quarterback. We've seen so many starters go down that, look, the Colts, right? Gardner.
Oh, yeah, dude. Gardner Minshew deserves
Nice player. But I mean, before we're like, oh, it's Gardner Minshew, right? Their starter goes out. Guess what? He saved their bacon.
Yeah, and they right now are the 7 seed. They would get into the playoffs with basically him starting almost all year.
I think backup QBs are going to definitely see a spike in price because of this.
Yeah. So, wow, great stuff here from Jeremy. Is there anyone else in your life you'd like to thank that helped you get to this pinnacle, life-changing moment today on Purple Daily?
Yeah, my brother, he's even more of a Vikings fan than I am. Shout out to him. My lovely wife, Violet, love you. Thank you for supporting me, through the ups and downs of being a Vikings fan, watching football every Sunday, and then to my 2 beautiful children. So
awesome, man. Jeremy, it was a pleasure having you on here.
Yeah, thank you, boy.
We'll keep the family lineage going into next week.
Yeah.
And good luck with your predictions.
Thank you. You guys have a great one.
There he is, Jeremy coming in here, making his predictions.
I love the Baker Mayfield steam. Good for him.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Dex.
I was going to say, Jeremy, when he was getting on here, was like, hey, I got a random thing for you. I want my dad to come on next week, but he can't know about it. So can I have my dad penciled in on your schedule for the next week's Write That Down? So that's going to be a fun little from son to father combo next week on Write That Down.
Look at that. So we're bringing families together here on Purple Daily. Yeah, bringing people.
The demand for the show is great, and look at you making room. Look at you. What a guy. Holiday season.
Hey, before we make our final predictions here and get to a quarterback cesspool challenge, it is January. It's time now to get serious about losing weight, changing your life. Start the year off by shedding a couple pounds. Livia is here to help you, Judd.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The guy on the left and the guy on the right, they're both sports dad. What's the difference, you say? Because you're saying there's a difference between those two guys. So I'm going to tell you what the difference is. 40 pounds down. The guy on the right, thanks to my friends at, again, Livia Weight Control Centers, who are going to help you shed those unwanted pounds. If you are saying, you know what, January 1st is here, new year, new me, Livia is on board, and have they got an offer for you right now? Guess what? The first 3 months are free. So if you join now, the first 3 months are free. And they're also now offering breakthrough weight loss medication options as well. 855-GO-LIVEA, Livia.com, LIVEA.com, or inside or outside the state, because the entire program can be done virtually. It's fantastic. Livia.com for the new you.
Amen. Also, if you're a dog looking for nutrition, Maya, maybe you're Vinny, maybe you're Stella, you should try Nutrisource, the official dog and pet food of Score North and Purple Daily. Maya, in fact, it's almost time for a little lunchtime snack, a little scoop of Nutrisource chicken and rice for our pup.
And that girl, guess what? She wants to go outside. And when she does, when she comes back inside, she stops and looks at me with that look and says, it's time for a Nutrisource treat, right? And I say, of course. And then there's that guy, the Vinster, who just is happy to see his Declan and his mom.
Yep, yeah, I told you guys off mic. 4 a.m, old Dex Tweets went to go to the couch, and then the Zoomies just came out of nowhere from Vincent at 4 a.m. as Dad's, trying to breathe downstairs because he's got a nasty cough, and then here comes Vinny, just running around, and luckily Nutrisource treats do calm him down.
Yeah, Nutrisource, petfoods.com if you want to find a Nutrisource retailer in your area, like a Chuck and Don's. NutrisourcePetFoods.com. Okay, let's go to Judd for your third and final prediction.
Okay, I'm actually going to do something I rarely do, and you guys, especially Phil, do a lot, but I am going to abandon my prediction and counter one of Phil's predictions, and it's this.
Oh.
The Vikings will not lose by 20 or more points on Sunday.
Okay.
The Vikings will keep it. The Vikings will keep it closer than 20 points. You open the door. I think that they will lose, but I don't think they're going to lose by that much.
Okay, so they'll have some pride, put up a fight, I guess. Okay.
I think the Packers game will cause them to have a little bit more pride.
Can see
that.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if they have the personnel at this point. It feels like they're just kind of limping down the stretch. Their quarterback play. We'll see.
Write this down.
Yeah, well, the coach was very disappointed, so I think he's going to appeal to them. If you saw his post game, I think it's one thing to lose. I think it's another thing to get blown out by a division opponent, and so I think that there might be some pride here just to at least hold things closer than they did Sunday.
Okay. All right, Dex.
All right, last one for me, and it involves NFL coaches being let go of their duties. And the first three names on this list are bunts, but I'm going to throw a fourth one on that I think is spicy that makes this prediction valid. So write this down. Arthur Smith, Ron Rivera, Griff Smith. You guys know who Griff Smith is, by the way?
Griff Smith?
He is the interim coach right now of the Chargers.
Okay.
Oh.
That sounds...
I had no idea. Gone. I literally Googled Chargers interim head coach last night because I didn't know who he was. So those three, and Mike Vrabel will be relieved of their coaching duties.
Oh, wow. We're firing
offseason.
Vrabel, too?
Oh, that alone. I mean, you could have just said that one. That's
I want to change relieved to no longer be head coaches, just in case, like, Vrabel's in a weird way. Like, I don't see him stepping down. But, like, if one of these Rivera even, like, steps down, doesn't get fired, I don't want to be burned by that. Those four names, Arthur Smith, Ron Rivera, Griff Smith, Mike Vrabel, will no longer be their respective team's head coach.
Okay.
All right.
I'm trying to think of how to phrase this because I think the Ravens are legit. So if the team I'm going to make a prediction about runs into the Ravens in the second round, they could be screwed.
Write this down.
The NFL does do reseeding, right? Like the number one seed will face the worst possible seed in their first game at home, right?
Yes.
Pretty sure that's the case.
Yes.
So we'd have a 2 versus a 7. We'd have a 3 versus a 6.
And a 4 versus a 5.
A 4 versus a 5. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm drinking Browns Kool-Aid. I think this is a touchdown. Wow. The Cleveland Browns will play in the AFC Championship game. Okay. Write it down. Now, there is a chance because if the 3 seed and the 2 seed both win and the Browns as the 5 seed not even upset, I think they might just be favored over the Jaguars, even if the Jaguars are at home. The Browns could then be the worst seed and they'd go play at Baltimore. But that's a division game, It's a good defense.
Yeah. And they beat Baltimore this season once. I think they did. I don't think they got swept by Baltimore.
They, let's see here. I love when we do live research on the show here. They lost 28-3 at one point to the Ravens. They did beat the Ravens 33-31 at Baltimore. There it is. Back in week 10 or week 11. So,
all right.
So I'm just saying, the Browns have the number one defense. Mm-hmm. They've got a good offensive line. Joe Flacco is just playing free and easy, and they've got a couple nice weapons. So I'm drinking Browns Kool-Aid. Kevin Stefanski, the one that got. We talk about Tomlin being the one that got away. Maybe Kevin Stefanski was the one that got away.
A lot of them got away, Phil.
Okay, that is your predictions there. Write that down. Predictions every Wednesday on Purple Daily. Boys, let's pop up the quarterback cesspool challenge on the screen here, where we celebrate bad quarterback play in the NFL each week. We didn't do one last week. I was out of town. We were just kind of scrambling during the holiday week. And so here's what I propose. I propose we do week 18, and then we also do a wild card weekend edition of quarterback cesspool challenge to make up for the missed week 17. So we have 2 weeks left to crown a champion.
I will say, is this a way of not crowning me the winner of the quarterback cesspool challenge? Because I technically won going into 2 weeks, to the last weeks.
No, you are. Yeah, dude, you're getting ahead here. We will get to the proper crowning of Declan.
Just saying.
But I think it would be fun to continue the game. The game was meant to be played every week, and we missed.
Oh no, the game wasn't meant to be fun.
So we'll get to it. But here's how it works: each member of the show picks a quarterback that we think is going to play crappily in the upcoming weekend's games. Each member of the show can only use a quarterback once per season, much like your sort of king of the mountain, your elimination pool leagues. And we have to pick different quarterbacks each week. So it's like a snake draft with only one round. QBR on a 0 to 100 scale is the scoring, so we're looking for the worst QBR. Last week, Declan, once again, for the 4th straight week, correctly identified among the 3 of us the worst quarterback by picking Case Keenum with a 6.8 QBR last week. That's awful. Work. Judd, this should be flipped, obviously, because Declan is the winner of last week. Judd picked Easton Stick with a 39.4 QBR, and I once again picked a backup quarterback who had his best game of the season, Mason Rudolph, with a 79.1 QBR. Sam Howell was the worst quarterback. This is, by the way, this is from a couple weeks ago. The last time we did this. Sam Howell was a 1.7 QBR in week 16. We did not make picks in week 17. So here's where things stand. Declan has clinched with his 8th victory of the season.
You won
3
anyway,
games
dude.
clear.
Calm
It's one of
down.
my moment. No, it's one of my moment. I'm a millennial. I like to get the pats in the back. I want the approval. I want the championship. I want the trophy.
I love how Declan seeked approval before we even got to like the standings portion.
And I had a feeling that he had won, that he'd clinched it.
Yes. So he has easily clinched the weekly wins here with 8. Judd has 5. I have 3. On the season, Declan has a 34.7 average QBR. Judd 45.2. So you're almost 10 points clear of Judd, and I'm at 51.7. I would have been better just picking benched quarterbacks because we give a 50 for a bench quarterback.
You had some bad luck.
So Dex is
really
running
bad
away with the quarterback cesspool challenge. Declan is
more credit.
so good at picking bad quarterbacks.
Give him more credit. He needs more
He's
credit.
so handsome.
Affirmation.
Oh man.
Affirmation. We're so proud of you. You're
There
special.
it is. Thank you.
Yeah, no,
What
this
else?
is great to see. Great job.
else?
Can we get something for your refrigerator? Perhaps the fiance can hang it up on the refrigerator.
We should put together like a certificate, a framed certificate for the winner of the quarterback cesspool challenge.
Athlete of the day
Yeah.
or the week.
Have Jamie Erdahl mail
Where's
it out
Jamie
to you.
Erdahl? You need her.
So okay, I finished last place last week, so I get the first pick. Judd gets the second pick, and then Declan can pick third. We don't even know who's going to start for the Vikings. I haven't used Nick Mullins yet, I don't think. And he's probably going to be terrible. But I don't want to get burned here. I mean, it doesn't matter because Declan won it. But
Yeah. It's gravy. It's over.
So it's either Nick Mullins or it's Taylor Heineke, who's playing for the Falcons, kind of a season on the line. You know what? I think Taylor Heineke's good for some turnovers.
Yeah.
Because we don't know if Nick Mullins is playing. I'm going to go Taylor Heineke for my Week 18 selection.
Okay.
Judd?
Yep. I am going to go. I was just waiting. I am going
Waiting
to go
for what?
with, and you were talking about Taylor Heineke.
No, I wasn't.
former
I
Viking.
stopped.
I was really enjoying it. I am going to go with the guy that Phil picked the last time that we did this because I am going with the roller coaster theory, Mason Rudolph.
Man, I feel like you've done this successfully a number of times.
Well,
where
look
like,
who he's
I'll pick-
playing
Was
too.
gonna pick.
I
He's
pick
playing
Jake
Baltimore.
Browning, plays his ass off. Then you pick him the next week, and he's terrible.
playing
Jordan
Baltimore,
Love,
too.
same thing.
On Saturday at 3:30.
Okay, Mason Rudolph for Judd.
Yep.
All right,
Dex?
last pick for me. I'm between 2 different guys here. I'm just making sure who. They got the Chiefs. Okay, they got nothing to play for. I'm going to take Jarrett Stidham, Broncos quarterback. Jarrett Stidham,
Okay.
house money, but yeah, Jarrett Stidham.
So Declan has won 3 consecutive and 4 of the last 5. Declan also had a 4-week win streak back in weeks 5 through 8.
So impressive. How impressive was this film?
Oh, I can't wait for the playoff
Just a tour
one
de
because we're
force.
just going to even kiss more butts even more during the playoff quarterback version. I think we reset it.
Oh, you want to?
Yeah,
Well,
let's
then what do
reset
we
it.
do? What do we do for the Super Bowl? Or do we just not do it?
Crap. There's only so we'd
Just
only
go
be able
through
to.
the
I guess we do it
conference
for.
We could do
yeah,
3
we do it
weeks.
for 3 weeks.
You want to do a
3
3-week
weeks.
playoff run?
I mean, we only have those only good quarterbacks to choose from, so you'd really.
Let's do it. And we'll do for 3-week for the 3-week playoff run because there's only 3 weeks. Let's just do cumulative average QBR for those 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, like, there's not enough weeks. I guess somebody could just win 2 weeks and it's over. But it'd be
I
more
see what
fun
you're
to
saying.
stretch it out to say in the playoffs, it's just your average QBR that you pick,
Well,
1 through wild card division and conference
love it.
championship round. All right.
I'm sure Dex will win because he's so good at this
Yep,
game.
and I expect then a longer appreciation.
Yeah.
A second
Yeah,
certificate.
no question about it.
More
Yep.
participation trophies for the millennials. Yes, all that good stuff. All that good stuff.
So there it is, the Quarterback Cesspool Challenge, a weekly celebration of bad quarterback play in the National Football League. This has been Purple Daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. Probably not happening this year.